Okay, so hello guys. Continuation tayo ng ating module sa CE Laws and Ethics. Okay, so yan. Unit 6, Republic Act 544 or the Civil Engineering Law. Okay, so dito na tayo sa CE Law. And yan. So ang reference of course is the CE Law. Okay, so medyo boring tong part ng kasi magbabasa tayo ng batas or ng Republic Acts. Yun, pero yung mga ano lang naman, yung mga important lang naman yung ano natin, importante lang. Okay, so RA 544, so as amended by RA 1582. So inamend siya sa ng RA 1582. So an act to promulgate the practice of civil engineering in the Philippines. Yan, so Section 1, this act shall be known as the Civil Engineering Law. So for the definition of terms, the practice of civil engineering within the meaning and intent of this act shall embrace services. So ito yung mga services na gagawin natin. Consultation, design, preparation of plans, specifications, estimates, erection, installation, and supervision of construction of streets, bridges, highways. Yan. So lahat to, consultation, design, preparation, specs, estimate, erection, and supervision, gagawin natin yan lahat or tayo yung gumagawa niyan sa mga infrastructures na ito. So streets, bridges, highways, railroads, airports, hangars, port works, canals, river and shore improvements, lighthouses, dry docks, buildings, fixed structures for irrigation, flood protection, drainage, water supply, sewage works, demolition of permanent structures and tunnels. Okay, so yan. The term civil engineer, as used in this act, shall mean a person duly registered. So yung mga registered or yung mga license with the board for civil engineers in the manner as herein provided. Okay, section 3. So the board of examiners for civil engineers. Yan, so ito yung mga examiners natin. So sino-sino ba yung composition ng board? Yan, so after 30 days magkakaroon ng board composed of a chairman and 2 members. So the members of the board, 3 years after appointment or until a successor shall have been appointed and shall have qualified. So any member of the board may be removed by the President of the Philippines upon the recommendation by the PRC. Ayan. So kailan sila matatanggal? So neglect of duty, incompetency, unprofessional and ethical, immoral, or dishonorable conduct after having been given opportunity to defend himself. Yan, so meron pang mga hearing na mangyayari. Okay? And then, yan, sinama ko na rin kung sino yung members ng board ng civil engineering o yung mga examiner natin. Examiner nyo, pag kumuha kayo ng board exam. So, as of this moment, sila pa rin 3. So, si Engineer Praxedes Bernardo, siya yung chairman. And siya yung naka-assign sa structural engineering and construction sa board exam. So, in my previous CE boards, o my last CE boards, actually once lang naman, yung subject niya yung pinakamahirap actually. Marami nagsasabi yung sa mathematics daw, pero the truth is ito, si Ma'am Praxi, kasi medyo tricky siya magpa-exam. So siya yung examiner ng structural engineering. So yun. So the other member, si Dr. Romeo Estañero, dati siyang president ng ASEP at affiliated siya sa DLSU. So dati siyang professor sa DLSU. And then when he retires, naging naging member siya ng PRC. Very very known sa mga structural engineers. But ang hinahawakan niya or ang subject niya sa board exam ay geotechnical engineering and water resources. Yan. So siya ang examiner doon. Kaya mapapansin nyo sa sa board exam ng geotechnical and water resources, merong kasamang NSCP code provisions. Kasi yun yung specialization niya. Dati siyang president ng ASEP or Association of Structural Engineers in the Philippines. Okay? And the other one is si Dr. Pericles P. Dakay. Isa siyang Cebuano. Sabi nila Cebuano daw ito. Pero not sure. Sabi lang. And then, yun. Related siya sa mga transportation projects, and then contractor din siya. Yan. So, yan siya si Engineer Pericles. And ito pala si Ma'am Praxi. Um, kung kilala niyo si Engineer Besavilla, Venancio Besavilla. So, number 2 kasi sa board exam si Besavilla. So, kung sino yung nakatalo kay Besavilla o yung number 1 ay ito si Ma'am Praxi. Yan, kaya maraming nakakakilala sa kanya. And 2-time siya, board top notcher. So, 2 beses siyang top notcher kasi 2 beses siyang kumuha ng boards. And sabi nila 2 beses din nag-top 1 si Ma'am Praxi. Kasi noong panahon nila, hindi pa computerized yung board exam. So, matagal bago malaman kung pasado ka o hindi. So, after niyang pumasa, after nung first board niya, so feeling niya hindi siya papasa. Kumuha ulit siya. Yun. Nung lumabas yung result, top 1 pala siya. Then, lumabas ulit yung isa pang result, top 1 na naman siya. Yun yung sabi nila. Ewan ko lang kung totoo. Yan. So, yan. Parang commercial lang yan. Section 4, powers and duties of the board. So, yan. To administer oaths. So, pa sa oath taking, ando dun sila. Issue, suspend, revoke certificate. Yan. So, merong mga, may mga assessment or may mga pagdinig na mangyayari. Yan. Issue certificates of recognition. Yan. Investigate violations of this act. Secure appearance in connection with the charges presented to the board. And also, the Director of Public Works or the DPWH and or his authorized representative in the provinces and chartered cities shall be ex officio agents of the board. The board shall also adopt a code of ethics in the practice of civil engineering. So, yan. Sila ang naglabas ng code of ethics natin. Yan. Qualifications of board members. So, yan. Very madaling intindihin. Okay. So, hindi na natin isa-isahin. Then, Section 6, fees and compensation. So, yan. Magkano ba yung binabayad sa mga board members? So, the board for civil engineers shall charge for each application for examination the sum of 100 payable to the collecting dispersing officer of the PRC. So, sa bawat isa na magbo-board exam, so doon babayad tayo kasi sa PRC. So, 100 yung mapupunta sa mga examiners. Paghati-hatian nila yun. Then, for each certificate of registration, so meron silang 50 pesos. Okay? Kasi, syempre, pipirmahan nila yan. Tsaka original yung pirma nila dyan sa certificate of registration. Okay? So, hindi siya computerized. Original yung nila, pirma. Each member of the board shall receive a compensation of 15 pesos for each applicant examined. Yan. So, annual report. Yan. Mag-annual report din sila kung ano yung mga nangyari. Yan. So, examination and registration. So, Section 8, examination requirement. All applicants shall be required to pass the technical examination as herein after provided. Yan. So, holding up examination shall be given in the City of Manila for each year. Actually, ngayon, di ba, twice na, 2 times a year. November and May. Normally nagagawa yan. So, November kasi is Civil Engineering Month. And then yung May, syempre, yung midway. Or, yan. So, bawal sa holidays, yun lang yun. And then, for Section 10, subjects of examination. So, ano yung mga subject na kasama sa board exam? So, yan. Mathematics, algebra, trigonometry, yan. Actually, nasa PRC din to, pero, yan, kung makikita nyo, nasa batas siya. So, kailangan, pagka gumraduate ka ng civil engineering, kaya mong gawin tong mga to, or at least maalam ka sa mga yan. Section 11, Executive Officer of the Board. So, yan. The Commissioner of PRC shall be Executive Officer of the Board and shall conduct the examinations given by the said Board. He shall designate any subordinate officer of the PRC to act as the Secretary and Custodian of all records, examination papers, and minutes of the deliberation of the Board. Yan. ano lang, parang tip doon sa ano kasi, hindi ko alam kung totoo, pero sabi kasi nila, ang mga examiners daw, nagbibigay sila ng parang 500 sets of questions. 500 questions sa PRC. Then, yung PRC kasi yung namimili ng, ng lalabas na answer. So, hindi talaga alam nung board of examiner kung ano yung lalabas sa actual board exam. Basta magbibigay lang sila ng questionnaires ng mga questions. So, bahala na si PRC kung ano. Kaya minsan may mga typo error sa ating mga board exam. Tapos minsan nagkakadoble yung tanong, which is yung nangyari sa amin. Sa mathematics, dalawa yung tanong na same na same. Then magkaiba lang yung choices. It's the same question, pero dun sa isa, iba yung choices. Dun sa isa, iba din yung choices. But of course, yung correct answer, yun lang yung mauulit. So, yun. So, naging ko yun eh. Parang naswerte ako dun kasi tinignan ko lang kung alin dun yung kung alin dun sa mga choices yung parehas. And then, of course, yun yung final answer. So medyo tamad gumawa ng yung examiner sa math. Kaya nasagutan ko siya. Kaya yun, kaya I think totoo yung sinasabi nila na na yung mga examiners ay hindi nila alam yung yung lalabas sa boards. Yan. So, qualifications for examination. So, yan. Para makakuha kayo ng exam, dapat 20 years of age, citizen ng Philippines, good reputation and moral character, graduate of a 4-year course in civil engineering. Yan. So, sa institute college or university recognized by the government. Yan. So, oath of civil engineering. So, yan. Mag-oath taking kayo pag pumasa kayo. Then, section 14, seal and use of seal. Yan. So, kailan ba ginagamit yung seal? So, yan. Pagka meron kayong syempre, kapag merong mga projects na plans and specifications na kailangan ng seal. So, dapat doon sa seal nyo, may serial number, and certificate issued by the board. So, yun, nandoon yung yung registration number nyo. And it shall be unlawful for anyone to stamp or seal any documents with said seal after the certificate of registrant name thereon has expired or has been revoked. Syempre naman, pagka expire na yung license mo or yung registration mo, so, diba, every 3 years kasi na yan nire-renew. Okay? So, nire-renew natin ang ating lisensya every 3 years. Yan. So, pagka hindi ka na pwedeng pumirma. Hindi ka na pwedeng pumirma pag expired na yung So, i-renew mo na lang. Section 15, so exemption from the registration. So, pwede kang hindi mag-register kung ikaw ay officer of or enlisted man of the United States and Philippine Armed Forces while rendering engineering services for the United States and Philippines, civil engineers or experts called in by the Philippine government for consultation, etc. Any person residing in the Philippines may make plans on specifications for any of the following. So, yan. So, pwedeng gawa ng plan and specification kahit sino. No, hindi required ang engineer provided na not exceeding the space requirement. Okay, wooden building enlargement or outrageous is used for farm purposes only. Yan. So sa mga farm, so yung mga structures, mga bahay kubo yan. And then bahay ng manok or And then yung cost niya dapat 10,000 pesos lang. Provided, however, that there shall be nothing in this act will prevent any person from constructing his own residential house without the use of civil engineer. Yan, as long as na hindi na ba-violate yung mga local ordinances. May mga sarili kasing building code or municipal building code or city code. Yan. So, kung kung pwede ka magpagawa ng bahay basta hindi mo na ba-violate yung mga yon. Pero hindi naman kasi nasusunod to, kakapagpagawa naman tayo ng bahay minsan nga 2-story nang walang civil engineer. So, kahit foreman lang. Pero ayan, malinaw sa batas, hindi pwede yun. Or yun, it's a violation of the civil engineering law. Pag nagpagawa ka ng bahay na lumalabag sa local ordinances. I think 2-story dapat may engineer na eh. May architect or engineer na. And then, pagka 5-story, I think dapat mayroon ng geotechnical engineer na pipirma. Okay. Para sa soil bearing capacity, dapat meron ka ng soil testing na ginawa. And I think kapag ka kasi 5-story, dapat may ano na yun eh. May elevator na. Ewan, sa Malolos kasi sa amin sa Bulacan, meron dapat. Pero I don't know sa ibang lugar. Okay. Nor shall anything in this acts prevent draftsmen, student, clerk, or work superintendents yan sa pag-supervise ng mga ng mga engineering practices na lawfully pwede nilang gawin. Okay? Yan. Nor shall anything in this act prevent any person who prior to the approval of this act have been lawfully engaged in the practice of maestro de obras. Yan. So, yung parang mga ano tawag dito? Hindi ko alam kung anong ibig sabihin nung ano. So, parang mga sila, mga designer na hindi educated or hindi civil engineers. Yun. Parang foreman din siguro. Provided na yung gagawin nila ay hindi not undertake building of concrete, whether reinforced or not. So, bawal ang mga bahay na bato. Building of more than 2 stories. Building with frames of structural steel. Building of structures intended for public gathering or assembly such as their theaters, cinematographs, stadia, churches, or structures like nature. Structures of like nature. Reason kasi dapat safe eh. So, civil engineers kasi, kaya niyang yun yung pinag-aaralan natin, di ba? Para maging safe yung isang structure. So, meron tayong reinforced concrete design, meron tayong steel design, di ba? So, yun. Tayo dapat yung nagde-design ng mga yun. So, pag sila yung nag-design or sila yung gumawa nun, by experience, so, it is unlawful. Okay, so, pwede silang makasuhan or, makasuhan, violation ng Republic Act 544. Okay. So, mamaya malalaman natin kung magkano yung fine o parusa o kung ano yung parusa pagka nilabag mo itong mga provisions na to. Nor shall anything in this act prevent professional architects and engineers to practice their professions. So, yung mga architects and engineers, Number 16, refusal to issue certificate. So, any person convicted by a court of competent jurisdiction of any criminal offense. So, pwede kang hindi issuean ng certificate. Pwede ring masuspend. Kapag ka merong kapag ka naging convicted ka sa isang crime, pwedeng masuspend ang iyong certificate. Reissue and replacement. So, pagka halimbawa, free ka na ulit or kapag ka na-expire na yung mo. So, pwedeng i-renew mo. Okay? Isa sa mga dito, sa mga dapat careful kayo. Normally, kapag ka sa mga environmental projects or sa mga trabaho kasi may mga lalo sa government, kung sa government kayo nagwo-work. So, pwede kasing pwedeng matanggalan kayo, natanggalan kayo ng trabaho dahil sa maling judgment or sa maling or nagkaroon ng anomaly sa nyo. So, pwedeng ma-revoke yung license nyo. So, better na maging careful kayo kapag lalo pag sa government. Pag sa private kasi normally hindi naman nila inaano to eh. Hindi nila or pinapalampas na yung mga ganun. Pero alam nyo naman, di ba sa government may mga maraming issues na diba yung corruption and the like or yung negligence or kapabayaan. Lalo kung meron ka ng position. Okay, so yun. So at risk yung mga license kung isa kang professional. And then transitory provisions. Ito transition lang to nung wala pa tong batas na to. Okay? So may mga engineers na kasi noon and then yung mga nagwo-work na hindi na sila require kumuha ng examination. 5 years pag employed ka na. Okay, enforcement of act and penal provisions. So, enforcement of the law. Yan, kung sino yung mga dapat mag-enforce. Registration required. Ayan. Penal provisions. Any person who shall practice or offer to practice in the Philippines without being registered. So, kung hindi ka registered or pasunay yung lisensya mo, ano yung mangyayari sa'yo? Shall violate any provision of shall be guilty of a misdemeanor and shall upon conviction be sentenced to a fine of not less than 500 pesos nor more than 2,000 pesos. Di ba? Pag ano ka, pero yung kinikbak mo, kalahating milyon ang babayaran mo ng 5,000 or 2,000 lang. Or to suffer imprisonment for a period of not less than 6 months. Not more than 1 year or both in the discretion of the court. Okay, so yan. Pag na-convict ka, so 6 months and or 1 year. Preparation of plans, provisions of construction by registered civil engineers. Yan, so kapag gagawa ka, yun. So, ano ka lang sa codes? Sa National Structural Code of the Philippines at saka sa Local Building Code. Yan, so doon lang naman tayo, plans and design must be approved as provided by law or ordinance. Yan, so Section 24, the practice of civil engineering is a professional service admission to which must be determined upon individual personal qualifications. Pero kasi merong mga firm, mga engineering firms and mga architects. Yan. So, pwede nilang i-register yung firm nila as engineers. So, halimbawa, magde-design ng building ay C-squared and associates. So, sa group of engineering kasi, group of civil engineers or structural engineers. Yan. So, yun. Pwede yung ganun, yung firms. Yun lang yung nasa Section 24. Ito actually in-amend sa 544. Parang inayos. Then, reciprocity requirements. So, yan. Para to sa mga sa mga foreigner na gustong mag-take ng exam or gustong maging civil engineer dito sa Pilipinas. So, ang requirement lang dapat pwede yung civil engineering profession na pwedeng maging civil engineer yung mga Filipino sa bansa nila, parang gano'n. 'Di ba na-discuss na natin yun sa PICE, sa fundamental canons ba yun? And then number 26, roster of civil engineers. Yan, roster showing the names and places of business of all registered civil engineers shall be prepared by the Commissioner of PRC periodically. So periodically gagawa sila ng listahan ng mga civil engineers at binibigay sa public works. Okay, at kung pwedeng i-request, yan, pwede rin. Repeal. All laws, parts of laws, orders, ordinances, or regulation in conflict with the provisions hereof, including parts of Act number 2985, yan, pertaining to the practice of Maestro de Obras. Actually, yung civil engineering law, galing siya dito. Practice of Maestro de Obras. So, nirepeal siya. Pinalitan ng civil engineering law. Okay. Construction of Act, ayan. And then, effectivity, June 17, na-approve, 1950. So, ilang taon na siya? 70 years. Okay. Yan. So, yun yung civil engineering law. And then, for now, hindi tayo magkakaroon ng activity para doon. So, babalikan na lang natin yung RA 544 sa midterm na. So, doon yun siya ulit re-reviewin. Pero, magkakaroon, since itong subject natin ay CA laws. So, yun. Laws, ibig sabihin maraming law. Yan. So, might as well, so aralin din natin yung other engineering law or environmental laws na related sa civil engineering. Actually, maraming laws ang related sa civil engineering. So, dito sa midterm part, aralin natin yung environmental laws, and then I think marami na sa inyo ang aware. And then another ay yung after ng after ng mga environmental laws, yung mga naman related sa professions, yung mga sa procurement, sa mga bidding, sa obligations, contracts, yung mga laws na related doon. Kung paano ba dapat, kung ano ba yung mga laws na nag-govern sa construction industry dito sa Philippines. So yun sa final term na yun. Pero ngayon sa environmental law, so importante kasi na alam din natin as civil engineers yung mga environmental laws existing. But why? Kasi madalas na nakakalimutan ng mga civil engineers na meron din tayong 'di ba sa ethics nga natin, meron tayong responsibility sa environment. Dapat hindi natin nasisira or dapat wala tayong environmental impact na nagagawa. Or kapag may mga projects na pwedeng masagasaan yung environment or ecosystem ng isang lugar, so dapat alam natin kung ano yung posible nating posible nating matamaan na law. So yun, dapat aware tayo doon. Another, halimbawa, kung hindi naman sa environment, pwedeng sa design, dapat may i-consider tayo ng design related sa, for example, Disaster Risk Reduction and Climate Change Act. So environmental law din siya, pero may mga provision sa mga design. Halimbawa, dapat green building yung design mo, or as much as possible makakabawas sa climate change or sa init, sa greenhouse. Okay, so yun. For example, instead na na welding, bolted na lang ang gagamitin. So, 'di ba? Yun eh. May provision din, I think may batas din eh sa ganon, sa construction sites, yung paggamit ng welding. 'Di ba? Yun eh, air pollution. So, instead na welded, so pwedeng bolted na lang pala yung gamitin. Or ang welding dapat ginagawa sa mga factory, or dapat prefab siya. Okay? So, yun. Baka kasi may mga masagasaan tayong batas na hindi natin alam. Okay, so yun, ang gagawin natin, so project siya, and it's a group project. So study the different Philippine environmental laws related to civil engineering profession assigned to your group. So ito na yung so ginamit ko na yung grouping ng technopreneurship. Okay? So para sa Team Energy, so Clean Water Act or RA 9275. Sa Clean Water Act, makakalaman niyo diyan yung yung water pollution, paano dapat mag-dispose ng waste, especially sa construction. I know, I believe hindi dapat hindi ka pwedeng mag-dispose ng lupa, ng may lupa sa sa drainage system. Yari ka sa Clean Water Act, or sa kung ano mang act na, basta may alam kong may batas na ganoon eh. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-dispose. So dapat meron kang slurry. Dapat bawa sa construction kasi pag umuulan, normally maputik eh. So yung maputik na yun, hindi mo pwedeng i-dispose sa yun. Bawal yun eh. Pwede kang may environmental law na doon eh, na nagpa-protect nun, or nagsasabi na bawal yun. And then sa Team Communicate naman, Ecological Solid Waste Management Act or RA 9003. Ang importante naman dito sa RA 9003 ay yung mga landfill or sanitary landfill. Okay, so tayo kasi as engineers, kasama yan sa natin, sa trabaho natin, yung pag-construct or yung study ng sanitary landfill, especially yung soil. Okay, so pwedeng ikaw yung contractor nung sanitary landfill, 'di ba, ng mga lugar. I think kasama dapat dito sa Ecological Solid Waste Management Act, dapat lahat ng, I don't know kung barangay or or municipality, dapat merong sanitary landfill. Then yung landfill na yon, may design kasi yun eh. So related tayo doon sa soil doon eh. Soil management. Yan. Ayun nga, kaya nga sa solid waste eh. And then Team Decide, Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act of 2010 or RA 10121. Dito naman, I think more on more on laws, provision, or yung NDRRMC. So pwede nyong ma-check dito kung ano yung kasi as civil engineer, we design, 'di ba, in structures and infrastructure. So dapat disaster risk resilient yung mga structures natin. So ano ba yung mga provisions ng law or nung IRR niya o na implementing rules and regulations niya na pwede nating i-adapt sa pagde-design ng mga structures and infrastructures. Okay? Paano magiging disaster risk resilient? Kasi marami na ngayong modern designs. Okay? For example, earthquake. Yan. So ano yung mga dapat nating malaman as engineers sa nasa yung mga related sa disaster. Okay? So Philippines is one of the most disaster prone countries. So dapat tayo diyan aware. Okay? So ano ba yung laman nung Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction Management Act? And then for the team deal, so Climate Change Act naman yung gagawin niyo. So medyo related siya dito kasi climate change is one of the causes of disasters eh. Yan. Pero meron din kasing mga provision sa mga designs ng structures and buildings yan na related sa climate change, lalo na yung for example yung mga greenhouse gases ngayon. So meron tayong tinatawag na mga green building, so makikita nyo din dyan. So pwede nyo extend yung pag-study nyo dun sa Climate Change Act or dun sa mga kasi may mga implementing rules and regulations yan eh. So you just read. Okay? Then after you read or study, create a simple poster showing the environmental advocacies related to the law assigned to your group. It may be an informative type. So gagawa kayo ng poster para siyang campaign, awareness campaign. So parang gagawa kayo ng poster na simple lang, parang kagaya lang ng ginawa nyo sa mga business models. Yan. So marami kasing maganda yung gawa doon and yun, pwede na yun. Basta madaling mabasa at madaling makita ng tao or madaling intindihin ng mga babasa. Yan. So, kung ano yung environmental advocacy na pwede nyong i-relate doon sa environmental law na naka-assign sa inyo. So, gagawa kayo ng isang poster. Isa lang para sa group nyo. It may be an informative type. So, informative meaning nagsasabi kayo ng mga descriptions or ng mga definitions or ng mga dapat malaman or did you know that, yung mga ganyan. Siya yung nakalagay sa posters. Did you know that every drop of water is important? Did you know that in Africa there are a lot of community that have no source of potable water? So dapat magtipid ng tubig, parang ganun. A call to action, so ibig sabihin meron kayong pinapagawa sa tao. Yan, so for example, mag-aano kayo or tuturuan nyo sila na kung paano yung magtapon, paano dapat i-dispose. For example, ang basura. For example, yung non-biodegradable and biodegradable, ano yung dapat gawin. Yan, and then for example, pwede ring application sa local community nyo. For example, sa Rizal, 'di ba meron kayong meron kayong antipolo sa, 'di ba, yung hinulugang taktak. Yan, pwedeng doon magkaroon kayo ng awareness campaign na ano ba yung law na nag-govern doon sa, 'di ba? For example, yung Clean Water Act. Yan. So, hindi niyo naman babatasin yung mga tao or parang lang. I-encourage niyo lang sila na ganito yung gawin. Okay? Or tips for the community. For example, tips on how to to reduce waste. For example, gumamit ng eco bag, ganyan. Or for example, tips para hindi masyadong mainit sa loob ng bahay. Okay. So pwede 'yon sa Climate Change Act, 'di ba? So pwedeng buksan yung bintana or maglagay ng ganitong kulay na okay, so maglagay ng halaman, and the like. And then, digital poster will be posted online through the PICE URSSC account. So, ito, upon approval pa. So, di pa final kung saan natin siya i-post. Pero, kinakausap ko na yung si Manil, yung president ng PICE. Kung pwede, doon na lang i-post. Para public publicly maano natin siya ma-post, and yun. Ang idea kasi nito syempre ano kayo, university organization din yung PIC. So at least makakapag-share tayo ng awareness sa ating community. Okay, so parang yun yung ano natin, yun yung goal, 'di ba? Or ganun din actually ang PICE din naman, yung national. Naggagawa din sila ng mga ganyan ng mga campaign. Tsaka gumagawa sila ng mga waiting shed, I think. May mga projects sila na related din sa ng lugar. So, yun. And then, the poster shall include the following. So, logo ng URS. And then, kung meron logo hindi ko alam kung may logo ang engineering So, yun, basta lahat ng logo. Para magkaroon distinction or malaman na yun, galing sa PI, na kayo yung gumawa, mga estudyante. Then, yung PICE, URSSC, and then, dapat ilagay nyo din kung ano yung environmental law or yung provision na kinonsider nyo kung bakit nyo nagawa yung poster. So, pwede nyo lagay na, did you know that in Republic Act 9003, we should have, or bawal yung ganito, or it is a violation of the law if you make this. Parang ganun. Okay, so ayun, basta mabasa lang natin na merong environmental law na nag-govern dun sa poster. So kahit simpleng statement lang. Then the group members send us a statement saying that this is a group project in our subject CE laws. Yan, so para mabigyan kayo ng credits, and then para malaman na estudyante yung gumawa, and that it is a project of in a certain subject. Okay? Para hindi masyadong mag-expect din. O baka sabihin nila bagong ordinance or what. So, babasa ang goal natin is to inform and to contribute sa awareness. Okay? So, the group leader shall send me first the poster for checking and verification. Okay? So, be-verify ko muna. Check ko muna baka may mali or so baka tayo pa yung nagkalat ng fake news. Okay? So, yan. Check ko muna. Then, make your poster simple and easy to understand. Our goal is to spread awareness. So, less words sana para hindi masakit sa mata. Then, yung kaaya-ayang tingnan, hindi crowded. Simple pero may impact. Okay, so be creative. Everyone is encouraged to share posters so that many can see. Yun, so kung naka-post na siya sa PICE URS, so na-encourage kayo na i-share nyo sa mga wall nyo, sa FB nyo, para marami yung makakita at makapansin. Okay, so, pero wala namang bearing sa yun. Yun lang. Kung may kayo, kung kung mahihain kayo or ayaw nyo mag-post, okay lang naman. Pero kung sana ma-post para makilala din yung org ng PICE URS. Kasi, you know what, importante rin, sa amin kasi sa PICE Bulsu, Bulacan State University, kasi naka-graduate. Yung PICE namin, very active siya at marami kaming sponsors na nakukuha. Na, for example, mga review centers, mga local mga local entrepreneurs or business owners dun sa lugar namin or sa Bulacan na nag-sponsor ng mga events namin. Kaya ang gaganda or ang successful ng mga events namin. So marami kaming pera. Yun. So kasi nakikita nila na active yung org, na nagko-conduct ng mga activity. So malay nyo, 'di ba, sa dito makita ng mga stakeholders, active pala ang PICE URSS. Actually, dapat active kayo Yun. So, dapat marami kayong activities, meron kayong dati kasi gumawa din kami ng ang tawag doon. Yung nagtinda rin kami ng t-shirt. Ang tawag namin doon PhD shirt. So, lahat ng binebenta namin sa yung org namin, yung PICE. Binebenta namin siya sa lahat ng engineering students, and also kahit hindi engineering students, pwedeng bumili. So, yun, nagkaroon kami ng malaking pera dahil doon. So, naging naging successful. Okay. yun, so, yan, kaya mahalaga na, na visible tayo or yung group nyo or yung org nyo sa, especially kayo yung 5th year. Okay. So, this project is due after 1 week. So, November 6. Kung merong, kung gusto nyo ipa-adjust, okay lang naman. Basta kasi, baka sa mga susunod na weeks ay mga midterm na eh. So, kaya, hindi ko rin masyadong inaano. So, mas maaga na nyo magawa siya, mas okay. Submit a screenshot of the FB post. So, for the submission, screenshot nyo lang yung FB post nung group nyo doon sa PICE. Yan. So, yung poster nyo na nasa group, nasa PICE or yung pinost nung PICE URS SC. Okay? Isasubmit nyo siya individually sa Google Classroom na gagawin ko. Or yung post sa Google Classroom na gagawin ko. Cardinal Rule, do not plagiarize, do not copy, paste without asking permission to the original author or owner. So, kung may, may gusto kayong i-copy na, for example, slogan or image or poster ng, hindi poster, wag kayong kumopya ng poster. Yan, so, wag, as much as possible, don't copy-paste. So, gamit na lang kayo ng mga apps or software or sa YouTube naman may mga free naman, 'di ba? Yung mga may watermark, okay lang 'yun. Na mga logo or mga images. Ang tawag doon sa mga malilit na clips. Parang clip arts. Yan, so, 'yun, doon na lang kayo kumuha. Huwag kayong ka-copy or paste sa pati content, huwag kayong kukuha sa mga copyrighted na na materials. Okay, for example, journals, books or posters ng mga ng mga lalo ng mga private. Normally kasi pinapaano nila yan eh. Pinapa-trademark nila. So, yun, wag kayong kumopya, please. Kasi yun, ayoko magkaroon ng ayoko maging kayo or yun, unethical yun, of course, number 1. And yun, nagkaroon na kasi dati ng issue sa amin yan ng ganyan. Hindi naman yung org namin, yung sa BSU. Sa ibang org na pinost nila online, so nakita nung taga ibang university, then yun, nagkaroon ng issue. Yan, so as much as possible, do not copy paste. Ito yung ilang example. So yan, protection of nature, save the earth. Yan, so simple lang yung mga wordings. Yan. So ito, climate change facts. So ito, informative siya. Average sea level is expected to rise 1 to 6 feet above the end of this century. So, ang taas pala, no? Taas ng itataas ng Then, yan. Then, ito, top 5 environmental stats. So, yan. No? Siya? Informative. Diba? So, 75% of every vehicle is recyclable. Okay? Yan. So, pwedeng ganyan. Maglagay lang kayo ng logo nung and then, kung environmental law na. And then, yan, pwede dito group names and references. Ayun, kung makikita nyo, may mga references silang ginagamit. Yan, so pwedeng ganito din, medyo colorful. Ito, climate change and compost. So, how does composting help the environment? So, parang ito call to action na rin. Parang tinuturuan mo mag-compost yung mga tao. Okay? The methane is a greenhouse gas that is over the course of 72 times more potent than CO2. Yan, so pwedeng ganyan. Pero ito kasi medyo maliliit na yung yung words. Ito maganda. Maraming figures. What goes where? Yan, by Center for Sustainability and Students for Sustainability. Ito mga estudyante ang gumawa nito. Or parang org. Yan, recycling, papers, then compost, garbage. Yan. 1, 2, 4, 5. Ito naman, call to action din. So, how to save water. So, number 1, test with trucks, sprinkle with care, plant, outdoors, fertilize, nozzle, indoors, color your water, check your water meter, turn it off, load it up, time your shower. Yan. So, yan, parang ganyan. Ito, I think ito, one of the best. Kaya lang maliliit din yung So, hindi siya masyadong readable. Yan, so, yun. So, tapos na yung module natin for this week sa Ethics Inf. May comment or suggestion, yan, so pwedeng mag-message or mag-comment na lang kung saan ko ito ipopost. Okay, thank you very much.